Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Yahweh. Double honors, of course, go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who deserve double honors. Salutations also go out to the fellow Hakim out there around the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth in an attempt to wake up the remaining hopeful elect. This is Naaman of the DC camp. And in this video, I'm going to, hopefully I don't get in trouble for this, so therefore I'm going to read this. Alright, this is the fair use disclaimer. Alright, it says allowances made for fair. This is a copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Alright. This is, of course, I'm not intending to profit off of. It's just as a teaching tool. Alright. So, what we have here is, hopefully, to those that somehow still believe that things aren't stacked against you here in America. Alright. Especially when it comes to finance. It is a collective, and what I mean by collective, you have, as far as Edomites, so-called white people, alright, we are, I don't know if you want to say a target of convenience, it's just outright hatred of Jake, alright, and this is the African Diaspora News channel, alright, Jake, by the name of Phil. He's down in Houston, I believe, is where he's set up. I'm going to go ahead and let him set it up, alright, but going to show you. And this individual that's talking here is a former bank worker. He was in on the scheme, alright, and he's going to describe what they did, alright.
One of the things I've always told everyone, that the greatest, sabotage that happens to black Americans is economic sabotage. I don't care if somebody don't like me because I'm black. I don't care if somebody call me names. I don't care with that. But what I do care about is being economically sabotaged because I'm black. Let me go ahead and roll this clip of this, white gentleman speaking about how they sabotage you, even when you have high credit scores, you have great jobs, etc. Let's go ahead and roll that.
So I'm going to tell a story.
See, and this is the thing about Jake. You do everything right. The things you were told you had to do in order to make it. You had to be better than anybody else. It still applies. But at the end of the day, you can do all these things, and as you're going to see here, you got to understand, we have no power in this setup. So it's still up to the enemy, all right? Who's the one that has all the power? It's up to the enemy. This is part of the curses, remember. We have to go to this piece of crap for all things. That's Deuteronomy 28 and 48. All right, in fact, let's get that real quick, because some of you just do not believe. All right. Straight to the point. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Most High Yahweh shall send against you, against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. All right. There you go. So let's roll this video.
So I'm going to tell a story. I used to work at a bank. I'm not going to disclose what bank it was.
Why?
I hated working there, though. We'll say that. My official title was personal banker or senior representative, I guess you could call it. Sharing the building with us was a mortgage company that we worked together with. And this was during like 2008 to 2012, so like really right after the recession. People were struggling really bad. And let me tell you, I cannot even comprehend. I can't even think about the number of people who were white and below their credit score to meet a certain criteria, a certain percentage, and we gave them that little nudge because we trusted them. We had faith in them. We believed that they would hold true to their end of the agreement, whatever it may be, whether it be the mortgage or the personal loan, whatever. I cannot count how many times like my managers and the actual mortgage lenders would give out loans to people that really didn't qualify for it, but they trusted them, and that's fine.
Because
But the
of
interesting part about that, we trusted them, is that never happened once to a single black customer. Never. In fact, just the opposite. We would have black customers come in with incredibly high dollar values attached to their accounts and very high credit scores. And let's say they wanted to open up a business, and they would still get denied. Like they would get approved for a loan, but it wouldn't be as good of a loan as someone in their exact situation who is white. It'd be a slightly smaller dollar amount, a higher overhead, or maybe an increase in a certain amount of their interest, like the little details that would add up to really them being screwed over. And there's no difference between these groups of people other than some of them were black. So no, it's not that credit scores are racist. It's that there's a high chance that the people who can do something with that credit score, aka give out a loan, approve, other types of finances, chances are like those people are probably a little racist, and then therefore they're less likely to do the right thing or to just treat people equal in general.
See, that's what I was talking about the whole time. It's that social currency of whiteness to say, oh well, I just know they'll be good for it. I know this, but black people, they can have a higher credit score sometimes. They can have more money in the bank, and they still don't even.
And that's something else you have to understand. You keep referring to us as black people, all right, instead of Israelites, which we are. All right. There was someone else that was complaining. Well, this guy that wrote an article about Jake or Jakes in particular, I can't remember, but he referred to them as African American initially in his article, and when he got further down toward the end, he said black people, and someone complained like, well, wait a minute. He asked the person who was an Edomite, he said, where are you from? He said, here. He said, California. He said, where are your parents from? He said, California. He said, asked him again, he said, well, initially, where are your people? Where did they come from? He admitted from Russia, right? He said, well, why aren't you a Russian-American? And the guy was like, see, they don't, showing that these people, and I'll use that term loosely, it's this, and I'm not a psychiatrist or, anything like that. Quite frankly, I don't like to give these wicked pieces of shit a medical excuse, for lack of a better term. All right, they're just wicked. All right, and their hatred for us is what's the fancy word? Palpable, meaning you can feel it, and you can. All right, it's almost a tangible thing. You walk into a room, you can just feel that. Yeah, let's continue on.
Get a loan whatsoever. They don't give them one. Or, as he said, they screw you based on interest rates and all of that. These people, I told you, don't know no other way to be, because it is birthed and bred into their home anti-black racism.
There you go. But it's more than, again, going back to that black, all right? You need to stay biblical with it, because that's what it boils down to. And this was promised because of what someone did not do. All right, said we would have war with Amalek forever, I think. Hold on. Whoops, why did I do that? let's see, is it 23 or 24? Hold on, let's see. I'm not gonna even try to do like. All right, let's see. Here it is. Number said it was 24. I was thinking 23. I don't know why. It says 24 and 20. Let's see. This falls under Balaam's final oracle. It says, and when he looked on Amalek, and let's see who we're dealing with here. We go to this is Esau's, the so-called white man's descendants. All right. And then we go down here. All right, this is who we're dealing with. And it says, for those of you that don't believe, verse 8, thus dwelt Esau on Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Edom are the descendants of Esau. They are the so-called white people. So here we go. Let's see. Here we are. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, or Adah, Esau's wife. All right, so that's who we're dealing with. Let's go back to Numbers 24. All right. Again, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up this parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. All right. And if only, you know, Saul would have been obedient. And, you know, oh boy. But these are the ones that hate us. These, in case you're wondering, are the ones that make up the majority of the small hats, the so-called Jewish. All right, these are Amalek. There is some contention. In fact, there are three factions. There are those who are Sephardic that come from the Iberian Peninsula. There are those of the so-called Ashkenazi that come mainly from Eastern Europe and migrated. You know, that's the whole story with, you know, Mount Seir, and then they were pushed up into the Caucasus Mountains, and then they immigrated west throughout Europe. All right, those are the ones that call themselves after one of the sons of Japheth. All right, which they're not. And then you have, I think it's the Hasidic. But the thing is, the Ashkenaz and the Sephardic can't stand each other. We're just not in a position to exploit that because we are very, very low. All right. Yeah, they never could stand each other. They have separate synagogues to worship in. They did not want each other to intermarry. Yeah. But of course, you don't see that. Let's go back to the video.
Or the way to be, because it is birthed and bred into their home.
Yep.
Anti-black racism. Economic sabotage of black Americans has been the story of America for black people. All these other immigrant groups that come over here, they're not economically sabotaged like we are.
And that's why they talk a lot of shit, because they're not experiencing the same thing that we are. And that's on purpose.
We're the people that's economically sabotaged. That's why when they tell you just work hard, and oh, if you work hard, you know, things will be better for you. You can work hard, but if you're being sabotaged, that's going to mess up your hard work, right? See, they can go quote unquote work hard and don't have to worry about being sabotaged. They don't. This is why, once again, when I talk about this, it's because I know some of you have not had this experience, is that when you get on the African continent and start doing business, I don't feel the sabotage like I feel in America. Because let's call it what it is. In my position, I should have got millions upon millions of dollars already worth of bank loans already for business. I should have had the most top of the art, you know, brand new building studio based off of what we produce, what comes in, and our even projections, right? But we don't get that, not because our credit score isn't good, not because we don't pay our bills, it's because of the economic sabotage. And then now let's go to the black bank aspect. Where is the black banks? Because we understand with the white-owned banks, that comes along with them.
See, here's the thing that Jake doesn't understand. So-called black banks. And they keep talking about the black dollar. None of that matters. And he said it himself before. He just made this statement. The sabotage. You got to understand, in banking there are rules that you must observe, no matter, because who overall runs this shit? Like, duh. So it doesn't matter because some of our people own a bank. You have to play by their rules. All right.
White supremacy and all the issues that come along with them. Where's the black-owned banks that should be out here giving business loans to black people? Should be saying, hey, you don't have to deal with that over here. Bring all your accounts to the black bank.
My name is.
Your accounts to the black banks. Bring it over here. We'll give you a home loan. We'll give you a business loan. If you got the high credit score and the money, hey, we feeling the same way. We know you good for it, right? That's my issue. Where are the black banks? Because I'm not for begging somebody to treat me right. If you show me you're not gonna treat me right, fine. No issue, no problem. I'm not gonna beg you. But the issue that I do take is, where are our black banks? And there are black banks in this country. Where are you screaming and yelling and saying, hey, we're here. Hey, come open up accounts over here. We got you. We will put you in a home. We'll give you a home loan. We'll give you a business loan. We'll do that over here. Because if we're not having the black banks opening their mouth and saying, hey, come over here and we'll take care of you, then what else do we got? What else do we have at that point? They purposely put these people in positions to sabotage black people. Purposely. And how do we combat that unless you also make reports to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau? You got to make reports also about if you think that you're being screwed or certain things happening, you do need to make federal complaints. Because a lot of these banks are constantly paying out billions of dollars every year about discrimination. And what I'm saying is, why should we be doing that if we have our own black-owned banks? The black-owned banks, once again, it goes back to the HBCU thing. Why aren't you reaching out and advertising on a platform like ours and saying, hey, Phil, let's go ahead on and get with y'all and let's advertise these black-owned banks to your audience so we can get them to come join. Black credit unions, where are you at? Why aren't you coming over here and say, hey, Phil, let's go ahead on and try to put up some advertisements so your audience can know about the black-owned credit union so they can go bring their accounts over here. That's the issue. You're not advertising. We have a good amount of people watching our platform. You should be on here advertising the black banks and black credit unions, even in the African continent. Some of those businesses should be advertising to this audience too, because we have people watching in the African continent. We're going to keep pointing out the obvious about everything that's going on, or what's going to happen, what are we going to do about it? What the black banks going to do about it? What the black-owned credit unions going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Are we going to be, is that our lot in life, to always be sabotaged economically? Is that what it is? Because the social currency of whiteness means a lot. I told y'all before, if I was a white man, I'll be 5 times further than where I am in America. But you know what? That's okay, because I've learned that I get more advancement and things start happening for me better the more and more I'm on the African continent. So I get that. I'm fine with that. But like I said before, why do I have to leave my own country where I'm born and raised and pay taxes at to get?
That's the point. This is not your country. This was never meant to be something for us to enjoy. This is punishment. He doesn't understand that because he's on that quote-unquote black/African tip, all right? And that just ain't it.
it anywhere further. But like I said, it could be like I said, the Jesus thing. We said that Jesus couldn't do many miracles, you know, in Nazareth. He couldn't do it because people didn't believe in him and etc. Right? So it may be my, like I said, America may be my Nazareth, and I understand that. But nobody should be sabotaged. Nobody. If they have the credit score, they got the money in their bank, they can pay, then they should get a loan. But they did have a report talk about that America lost, I think, what, $5 trillion due to racist economic practices. They will hurt the whole country because they hate us. I told you, it's in the foundation of America to have a hatred of black people. And you could even ask them, why y'all hate us so much? They can't even tell you. They can't, because it's in the culture.
More so, it's in their spirit, all right, to be like this, all right?
They don't even know why. They can come up with some old sorry, most of them don't even interact with you. But it's in the culture, that's why. It really is not the definitive why. But if you can't get along, black people, this man right here, but see, he told it, but let me tell you something about some of these people that that will tell about racism in their own community.
Wow, listen to this.
He still stayed on code.
There you go.
You mean, like, what do you mean?
How?
He said, I'm not going to say the bank. Why are you going to tell us what's happening and not tell us what bank so we can avoid it? See, you still staying on code, sir. You still stayed on code. Yeah, you told it, you got off code and told it, but you didn't give us really the full information. You didn't work there no more. You could have told us who was doing it. You could have profiled the kind of people that do it. You could have told it, but see, you didn't do that because you still stayed on code, and that's what I'm talking about.
See, there you go. And that's as far as, you know, because we're about at the end anyway. So we'll let him, because he could do it better as far as explaining. And I would just add in scriptures and, you know, so you know what's really going on under the surface. All right, all this black this and Africa this, we got to get away from that, because, you know, that's something that a lot of our people, they went to the enemy's institutions and everything. And this is what, you got to understand what this devil does also. We were talking about it at Camp Wednesday, and it's a word that's come up a lot, and that's gaslighting. I encourage you to look into that, but basically it's them making you believe that what's your reality is not your reality. All right, so and they're expert at that. It's like casting a spell, you know. It's witchcraft at the end of the day. Hey, so with that, until the next video, hey, shalom.